EGM Network.
Honestly, without Treasure Coast Community Health, I think we'd be a much poorer community in terms of our health. We're always striving to fill the gap for everyone in the community, rich or poor. Good afternoon and welcome to Community Conversations. You know, in our line of business in healthcare, it doesn't take too long to figure out that health is a variety of different things. It's mental health, it's physical health, maybe it's oral health. You know, there's a lot of components that make you feel good about your body, yourself, and how you proceed with the rest of the world. And yet we're not unique in that. Our community is full of a number of individuals and companies that work to enhance the lives that we live here in Indian River County. And I'm very pleased that I have one of those folks back again, my good friend Shala Edwards, who 4 years ago decided to do something different and formed the Treasure Coast Girls Coalition. And so it's been a measure of progress. And so welcome back, Shala.
Thank you so much for having me back again. I'm very, very grateful for you, Vicki.
Well, you have done something that I wouldn't dream of doing. My husband and I have raised 6 kids, but the reality is that I'm a working girl by preference. I'm not what you would call the nurturing mom. My husband has done a lot of that. And you nurture your Treasure Coast girls.
Yes.
And to me, that's just an amazing feat, talent, skill set, and loving heart. So I thank you and admire you for what you do.
Thank you very much.
So when you started this journey 4 years ago, I know that you have a girl of your own.
Yes.
She would have been 10, 11 years old.
Yes. It started a little bit before that also. I have bonus daughters, very amazing girls.
Okay.
And they lived with us for a while.
Okay.
So that kind of sparked my vision that I could work with all girls because of my bonus daughters.
So
and then I have my own
boys,
daughter.
so entirely different bonus potential there.
Right. So, yes, I have a daughter that's now 14, getting ready to be 15. So full-fledged teenager at home right now.
And your hair hasn't turned gray yet.
Oh, yeah,
It's
a little bit. It's getting there.
Well, we all commiserate about the teenage years because they are our pride and joy, and we still remember all those cute, lovable moments when faced with the teenage angst of, I want to be independent and you can't tell me what to do.
Yes.
I'll tell you what to do for the next 5 years or so. Yes.
So that's the era I'm currently in right now.
Okay. And so when you formed Treasure Coast Girls Coalition, what were your goals then?
My goal at that point, it was to educate girls and to provide pathways out of poverty for them. As a youth that had a lot of adverse childhood experiences on top of the generational trauma and poverty, I wanted something different for my children and the children in our community. So that's kind of pretty much, that was my call to heart for this organization. And it has been very, very rewarding day for day, year after year.
So you certainly have made this organization become better known, and that has certainly, as a nonprofit, helped your status in terms of funding. But tell me a little bit more about how did you handle that first year? I mean, I can't hardly remember last month, so it's okay if you ad-lib.
It was a very uncertain time at the point where I decided to start putting in the work to develop an organization. I started interning. I was interning at another local nonprofit, and during that year, I just saw a lot of things that were telling as to what I wanted to do with my vision. So I completed a year at that organization, and during that year, it just so happened to be a global pandemic, and everything pretty much just started to, my world fell apart while coming together during that year. And at the end of that year, when I saw the social and emotional behavioral decline in children at that organization, that was a very, very clear indication that I had a lot of work to do. and that it was going to be very difficult because of the uncertainty around the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So I told myself I'd dedicate a year. I had read a book called Year of Yes. I would dedicate a year of saying yes to all the things that intimidated me. And running a girl-focused organization was very, very intimidating.
You had never started up a nonprofit.
I had never started. I had never, really even been involved in the background. All of the other nonprofits that I worked for over the past 10 years at that point, I was an employee. But thank God I was a very good employee, very, very committed to my roles, very mindful of the population that I work with in each different organization, and not afraid to do the work. And that's pretty much, those are the three successes that I carry with me into my own organization, and it has truly helped me thrive in such a short time.
Absolutely. I can't believe it's year 4. So let's talk about that growth a minute.
Yes.
I recently well, it wasn't that recent, but this
Recent enough
this fall, you opened a location in Sebastian.
I did.
So the hometown Gifford girl went north.
I did. Speaking of being north, in the North County community, there's a lot of underserved children there. And it was, when I looked at the map, where I should be as far as being able to serve those in most needs. Our deepest pockets of poverty come from Gifford and Fellsmere. You know that. You all started out as in Fellsmere with one small building, and you work your way back towards the south. When I looked at the community needs assessment, those were the 2 most underserved areas, and I wanted to create access for those students. So on the XY coordinates of the map,
ta-da! There was
put us in Sebastian. And I did a little bit of research. Sebastian is one of the safest communities in Indian River County. Quiet, laid back like me, out of the noise. So I'm very big on alignment, being purposeful. And when I looked at the community needs assessment, that was one of the areas where there were not many opportunities for youth development programs or youth to access those programs.
That's true.
So I started looking down there, spent a couple of months, got discouraged, felt good, got discouraged, felt good. And then at some point, I was discouraged one day, and I was like, I'm going home. I didn't find anything another week. I would weekly ride up and down Sebastian. And I get to the red light. This red light stopped me, and I look over, and there's a sign that says store closing. I was like, let me turn in there and see what this looks like, this building. And when I walked in that building, I knew immediately that was our home.
And so how many girls are you seeing there?
For 2024, we've served 37 girls.
That's awesome.
Our goal was to serve 50, and we served 37 proudly. Very, very demanding families. We've had to go back and focus on the family unit versus just the individual girl, which allowed us to fairly say, we can really at capacity serve about 40.
Okay.
50 would be a little bit pushing it because of the average household size for our families, which is 5.
Wow.
Single mom, 78% or more of our families in this community identify as single women-led households. So when I'm looking at that data from the community needs assessment coming out of the community foundation, I'm able to deliver our programs based on the data and not what we think it should be or how it should go.
That's why I love you. I'm a data person.
I'm a data girl. That's what I enjoy doing, is looking at that data and figuring out how to, deliver quality and sustainable programming based on the data.
Well, we're going to have to get together because our data source says that the Oslo corridor has the largest group of children that live in poverty. So I don't want you to forget Oslo as
South
you move.
County is definitely
north. Okay?
I live in South County. My daughter attends school in South County.
Okay.
But this community is so spread out with those deep pockets of poverty that we have to be able to try to maximize our resources to be able to give and have the largest return on investment.
And your first points were very well made in that northern area just doesn't have the resources for our youth.
Yes.
And so I'm so pleased that you're doing that. Let me ask you about your limitations and, you're downsizing your best estimate from 50 to 40. Is that a limitation based on volunteers or
Yes.
teachers or?
Staffing, volunteers, the ability to deliver and give our students what they truly need. Being able to have such a small grassroots, slow start, which I thought was going to be slow, I was able to really work with our students and families on a more like one-on-one
Right.
level, and that's what our families need.
Mhm.
Having such a large population, being able to really, give those families and kids the attention they deserve at a full capacity with the resources we have,
Mhm.
that's where we're at.
So I'm helping you recruit volunteers.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit more about your program after we take a station break.
Sure.
And then maybe we'll see what happens.
Yes.
So stay with us. We've got some interesting information, and we'll be right back. Treasure Coast Community Health in-house pharmacies have the lowest prices in Indian River County, even lower than big box pharmacies. Taking your medication as prescribed leads to better health. Affordable medicine makes it easier. Treasure Coast Community Health patients can pick up medicine as they leave the office or use free delivery and mail order services. Pharmacists are always available to answer questions. Switch to TCCH pharmacies. Save money, stay healthy. 772-257-8224 and ask about our price match.
Blue Dolphin Pools strives to provide quality service with a well-trained staff in the field and in the office. They want you to know that your pool or spa investment means much more to them than just another account. They believe you have entrusted them with your investment, and they'll do their best to see that it stays in top condition. Blue Dolphin Pool has been in business over 35 years, setting them apart from the competition. Residential or commercial, Blue Dolphin will keep you in the swim. 567-5853.
Right now at Sunshine Furniture, it's New Year sale time. Save up to 50% on selected closeout styles of Lloyd Landers, Berlin Garden, Capri, Universal Coastal Living, Four Seasons, and lots more. Sofas, dining sets, patio groups, chaises, umbrellas, occasional chairs, bedroom sets, coffee table, lots of pieces on sale now for inside and out. We're your local Tommy Bahama and Lexington store where you can create an island paradise and make your life one long weekend. Sophisticated looks with a mix of coastal and Caribbean style, Tommy Bahama Home has everything you need for your Florida living. Also, all pictures, lamps, and accessories are half price. Visit Sunshine Furniture now for our January sale. Sunshine Furniture, $12.95 US 1 in the Publix Plaza, Vero Beach. Visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com. Also, don't forget to shop our outlet and sales center just across the street.
Sunshine Furniture, the best in every way.
And welcome back to Community Conversations. If you're just joining us, I'm sorry, got a little tickle in my throat this week. I'm told from our health center folks that it's going around, so no point in sitting at home wishing it were different. So this week I've got the pleasure of having Shala Edwards here. She is the CEO and founder of Treasure Coast Girls Coalition. You may have heard of her. You may have heard of Treasure Coast Girls Coalition because from a grassroots effort solely by her own determination to improve the lives of the children in our communities, particularly girls, she has grown this organization in 4 years so that now she has a permanent spot in North County, which saw 37 girls this last year.
Yes.
And while that number in itself doesn't say a whole lot, I think what we'd like to delve into a little bit more is how you got started with life skills and how that has generated other ideas and how the girls interact with you and each other. And volunteers seem to be your only sticking point
Yes.
in terms of capping that growth.
Yes. So by the year of 2030, 70% or more of high demand jobs will require STEM skills.
Mm-hmm.
2030 is only 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Very, very short amount of time for us to get in, prepare our students with those workforce soft skills that employers are looking for. So when I looked at what programs we could focus on, women and girls, primarily girls and women of color and Hispanic background, represent the least amount of those STEM fields and jobs. But when you're coming out of poverty, you're looking at being able to earn a living for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
STEM is where it's at.
So things like nursing?
Nursing, healthcare, computer science, X-ray tech. You got it all at TCCH, just so you know.
Yeah,
we're putting them in the pipeline for you, Vicki.
That's really great. You and Phil over at Youth Guidance, you're going to make the community thrive.
We hope so.
And I truly appreciate that.
Yes.
But, when I think of STEM and break those letters down, math,
science, technology, engineering, and math. And then we added the A, which is arts, which is a very big component in our community. Riverside Theater and places like that.
Yeah.
So.
And so how do you get the girls to determine that they are or are not interested in a particular thing? I have a 15-year-old son. It's like pulling teeth.
Yes.
How about this? No. How about that? No. Have you ever? No.
Yes. So sparking that curiosity is one of our day-to-day goals, exposing them. Exposure very, very young to those opportunities. At some point, they're going to latch on somewhere in those areas. And we also provide digital literacy and emotional intelligence support. As you know, youth, primarily girls, the data around behavioral health, mental health, and wellness is very
yes, it is distressing,
heightened, and it's very concerning in our community as well. So outside of the educational piece, we have to focus on that holistic child, building them from the inside out.
And so how do you do that in a group environment after school?
We bring them in. We provide a evidence research-based curriculum that is gender responsive.
You have done your homework. I'm really impressed.
Employing and working with very and inviting in volunteers and staff that are that have professional backgrounds, that have had careers, very successful careers in their lives, so that girls can see that there's a role model there and they've already done this and they've been successful in it.
And so is it like the old model used to be bring your parent to school if they're a professional or even if they're not. Tell us about what you do and how you got it. So do you do things like that?
We do. We do experiential outings. We have an amazing conference coming up in March in Chicago for engineers.
Wow.
Making sure that we fill that engineering gap for women and allowing them to meet professionals that look like them. So, you have to be able to show them that not only can you do this, I have someone for you who has done it or is doing it right now.
Somebody that looks the same as you and may have some similar backgrounds?
Yes, similar background and the ability to work one-on-one with our students at times. Internships are another big thing that we're focusing on this year. So just making sure that they really are truly supported and they're exposed to those careers that they're going to be sitting in or doing in the near future.
So I'm going to take a flashback because there's a little piece of the back of my brain that's confused because I remember in your early days, you bought a food truck and your goal was to have the girls experience that from a customer service point of view.
Yes.
And I know you've been very busy since.
Yes.
And I haven't seen the food truck out. So tell me about that transition, what you learned, what you decided to do, or advancements that you made off of that experience.
So we added the food truck as a culinary arts component, which still focuses on the arts. And we're going to be working on that again this year. We're allowing our students to continually learn those skills. Cooking is a skill that we continue to make sure that it is a life skill that everybody must learn, not just girls.
Absolutely.
So we're going to be partnering with a couple of different other organizations in the community, that collaboration to bring those skills to not just TCGC girls, but to other students in the community as well. So
marvelous. So can I get in line to have your food truck come to some of our centers as a treat for our staff for lunches?
Absolutely, and it will allow our girls. Last year we did a luncheon for the Indian River County Chamber, their leadership program. We provided culinary arts skills and instruction to their cohort at the United Way. So that's how we kind of weave those collaborations in, where our students get the on-the-job training and experience as well.
So as you're looking for individuals, we have so many wonderful semi-retired or fully retired professionals that come here. And, you know, the reality is you can only swing the golf club or the tennis racket so often before you miss that more human interaction of wherever you came from or to. So what skill sets are you looking for if someone found that they had a few hours a week or a month?
Right. So we're looking for volunteers to come in and help us to be able to teach a class, to be able to provide lessons in those areas of science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, culinary arts instructors. We have a garden at the center now, so any gardening people that love to be outside with nature.
You tented those over for this week, right?
We're getting there. And,
Florida.
you know, any admin, we're definitely always looking for people that have the administrative background to come in and help us during the day at the center to get some of the admin covered, because that is a big piece of the organization, staying organized and delivering efficient programming. So, and in mentors, you know, there's power in mentorship.
They're
proven, very proven.
But you have to like girls, right? I mean,
you have to like children.
Children, yeah.
and girls primarily, because, you know, our girls can be very teenagerish, very independent, very, I'm going to do it this way. And so it's a balancing act with our girls, but we are.
But I know of a lot of retired teachers.
Yes, educators.
Who are thrilled
big
that they're not in the daily grind, but miss that interaction. That was a huge part of their life.
We love to have educators. Old school is better. Right now, our younger teachers are burdened with trying to make sure they get our kids on grade level for reading.
Yes.
So we have that old school, you know, pen and paper, flashcards. A lot of our students are struggling academically, and they need that one-on-one old school approach.
I could do something like that. When you said engineering, my eyes glazed over.
Yes.
You know, it's like, not mine. Okay.
Yes. So anything that is over our head, we definitely collaborate and partner out. But anything that we can do in-house, we definitely do it in-house.
And do you motivate the girls through a reward system of any kind, or how do you deal with?
There's always a reward, and it's always fun. Without fun and reward, you can't get them there. And food. We've gotten our recent survey came back that a lot of them enjoy the food, so they are there for the social.
But food
connections.
Costs money. So is that something that philanthropically you could use some assistance?
Always, we would definitely welcome snacks to our program, for our after-school program, water, any type of time, talent, and treasure that people have to give these days. TCGC would benefit greatly from it.
Well, I really, as I said, admire what you do. So if someone did want to volunteer, you have a website?
Yes, treasurecoastgirls.org.
Okay.
And you can send a contact submission form or the Get Involved page.
All right. Well, Shala, is there anything else that you wanted to share with our listening audience that I haven't tiptoed around or jumped right in the middle of?
Save the date for our annual luncheon. It's Saturday, April 5th. It's 11 to 1 at the Point West Country Club. Tickets are on Eventbrite right now. Okay. And we're looking for sponsors. Okay. April 5th. Saturday, April 5th. See you there.
All right. Well, I wish you continued success. Not that you need my wishes, because you're doing an awesome job yourself. And I do hope that this calls out to some of the folks that are wondering, how can they spend the next couple of months? And again, as you said, so many of our kids are still struggling with the basics, that even if you're not a year-round resident, even if you're only here for a month, being able to work with a student with the basics makes a difference. It truly does. It's the old, it takes a village thing. Thank you for being a part of our village. My pleasure. Absolutely. And so we're going to wrap up this week. Next week, we'll have another great guest from around our local community and bring you more interesting information that perhaps you didn't know about through community conversations. So have a great evening and see you next week.